Hi, all. What's going on? My name is Dr. Leslie Danju. I am the lead business stats guru, I guess, for business BUS352. And what I want to do today is talk to you guys about our Explore More for exam number 1. This is where you guys are going to get the opportunity to actually learn some tricks and tips within Excel and show up to that exam confident, like, let's do this. Let me knock this out at 100%. By the way, I'm the guy who actually wrote the book, The Statistician in You. You guys are going to be using this for your CLC assignments and so on and so forth. But ultimately, what I want for this Explore More, what I want you guys to do when you show up to this exam is to be efficient. What is the most efficient way for you to answer these questions and get them done at 100%? That's what I'm going to be explaining to you all today. That's what I'm going to be showing you all today. So I'm going to share my screen with you all, and hopefully you've been doing and working along with Excel. So when you show up to this exam, it is not like a surprise. This is trick questions that we're asking you. What we're wanting you to do is, can you apply what you have learned on your homework assignments and apply it on the exam most efficiently as you possibly can? So let me share my screen with you all. We're going to start off with making sure that we have all the templates that we need. All right, we're going to show you guys how to create your own template. And then we're going to show you the types of questions that will show up on the exam. The only difference between my examples that I'm providing you and what will show up on the exam, they're going to provide you a whole set of different numbers. All right, so please make sure that you're following along. If I'm going too fast, stop the video, go back and see how I'm doing this. All right, so let me share my screen with you all. All right, I'm going to get this out of the way. Now, we're going to have a PowerPoint that talks about exam 1. So where can you find this PowerPoint? If you guys were to go, and let me hide this so this doesn't get in your way. All right. If you guys were to go to the Trello board, we have a Trello board for all students. Whether you are in my class or some other professor's class, every student have access to this Trello board. How do you find it? https://trello.com/b/TQL1XOCT/BUS hyphen students hyphen resources. All right, so I can actually copy this. All right, and what I will do is once I open up an Excel, I will paste that for you, make it bigger so you can see this. I will also put this in the description of this video. So if you want, you can click on that link and get to this resource right here. In this resource, what we're doing is we're organizing stuff. You guys should have learned how to organize mess or messy stuff. All right, we're putting everything in order. So for exam 1, you can see all the recordings that we have done so far for Excel homework chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can click on that, see all the videos. Here are all of our PowerPoints for our lectures and our quizzes. Here you can find the Excel templates, just in case you don't know where to find them. You can't find them within Halo. You can click on this, find it. All right, but for exam 1, all right, if you click on this, you will see exam 1 study guide. This is what we'll be using for as I explain how to do this the most efficient way using an Excel template. All right, once I'm done with this recording, I will also put the video right up here. So you guys can always go back and find it. All right, so please download this up arrow right here. If you were to click on it, you'll be able to see what I am seeing. All right, so I'm going to close this out. All right, so we have this. What I would like you all to do right now is to open up all of those Excel documents that you have. If you don't have them, you can click on your classroom, scroll down to class resources. All right, when you click on class resources, right here, you'll see homework templates. Please, would you please download chapters 1, chapters 2, chapters 3, and chapters 4 homework templates, please. All right, so they're all over the place. So you're just gonna have to click them individually. Click it. It's gonna pop up here, download it. All right, and for my purposes, I'm just gonna open it. If you haven't opened these before, all right, save it somewhere where you can find it and then open it in Excel. So I'm gonna click on OK. All right, make sure you enable it so you can actually save your documents. If for some reason you cannot enable it, you're gonna have to save that file and as something else so you can actually save your actual document. All right, so, all right, as you can see, I selected chapters 11. Make sure that you're selecting the right one. You see, it looked like one there, but that's actually chapters 11. Let me find, here's chapters 1. All right, make sure you're selecting the right template. Okay, so download that, open that in Excel, and enable it. All right, so once you have that, minimize it, then you can close this out, then look for chapters 2 Excel's template. If you hover over it, you should see the full name. Grab that, download that, click on OK. Enable that. All right, so you can minimize this one as well, minimize that one, and you can close this out. All right, so we're looking for chapters 3. All right, bam, grab that, download this. Some of you have turned in your actual Excel document. You can actually use that one that you've turned in and download that or open it. All right, so I got chapters 3 right here. I'm rocking and rolling. I'm going to close this one out and I need chapters 4. Download that. Okay. Enable it. And we are good to go. So we got all of our templates. All right, I'm going to minimize this, close this out. We have all of our templates. We have our PowerPoint, all right here. All right, we're going to do a quick review on chapters 1 through 4. And then what I want to do is get into each chapter and show you a similar question that you will see on your exam. All right, let's maximize this. All right, here we go. So let's do a quick review. So you have all your templates ready to rock and roll. Let's remember what we did from chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. Defining statistics. How do we define statistics, y'all? We're defining it by using data and information to help make informed decisions. All right, so let me grab my laser pen. Using data and information to make informed decisions. We, throughout this course, are going to use a framework called the COVAS. Man, we're going to define it. We're going to collect it. We're going to organize, visualize, analyze, and provide a solution. By the time you guys are done with this class, our hope is that you guys can do a statistical report in 10 minutes or less using the most effective and efficient way possible. All right, what is a variable? There are 2 types of variables, categorical and quantitative or numerical. Categorical is some kind of category, y'all, some kind of quality. All right, yes, no, true, false, political party. Which political party do you belong to? What is your eyes color or your eye color? Any of that is your categorical variables. Quantitative. When I describe quantitative, we break it down into 2 subcategories, discrete and continuous. Discrete is a precise exact number, all right? Like the number of shoes I have in my closet, the number of hairs on my head. Hey, watch it now. Hey, don't be judging my beautiful bald head. It's the number of something. A discrete is the number, a precise exact number, all right? Continuous is some kind of measured value, like height. How tall are you? How much do you weigh? Some kind of voltage, some kind of current. anything that is measured, anything in essence that rolls into basically a decimal value, you will consider that continuous. All right. Don't want to confuse you, but how tall am I really? Am I really 5'11" or am I 5'10.9911211122221? Yeah, makes sense. We round that decimal number off to make sense of it. I'm 5'11", right? It's a measured value. It's a continuous value that we can round off to make sense. Also note to self, it is standard customary to put all of your variables. We put variables in columns going up and down. That's where variables actually go. Remember, elements goes in the rows. Food for thought. All right, let's move on to the next one. What is the book's definition of a variable? Here it is, you guys can read. All right, give an example of a ratio. These are some examples of ratio. Descriptive statistics, what do they look like? We're going to show you guys how to do descriptive statistics, and hopefully you were taught how to do descriptive statistics within 10 seconds. You can create all of these calculations within 10 seconds. Find the most efficient way possible to get this information out. This is called a contingency table or a cross-tabulation table. Ultimately, guys, we want you to know that business statistics, where do we get our ethical guidelines from? The Word of God. Business statistics using data and information to help make informed decisions. This data and information, in the beginning, God created this data and information to help us make informed decisions. So when we're doing ethical guidelines, how do we follow the right way? Please use God's word as your guide. All right, chapters 2. We talked about organizing the mess, y'all. We have to find ways to organize our data in a way that makes sense. How do we do it from a categorical perspective? If we have one categorical variable, we use something called summary tables. It looks like that. Here is your one categorical variable, reasons for shopping online. Here are its sub variables. All right, yo, man, I want best prices. For me, shipping directly is golden. That's the reason why I want to shop online. I ain't got to go nowhere, y'all. Anyways, that's an example. We use a summary table when we're dealing with one categorical variable, when we're organizing our data. How do you do it with two categorical variables? We use something called a contingency table or a cross-tabulation table. Both of these mean the same exact thing. In our book, they actually use the word cross-tabulation table. You're taking two variables, error and amount, and you're using that to compare the two and cross-tabulating the two. So that's how we got no error, error, small, medium, and large. We're checking this to make informed decisions. We also talked about putting things in order. We must start off when we have numbers to put those numbers in order. Here's a quick example. These numbers make no sense to us. When you don't have things in order, it stresses you out. But watch this, y'all. When you start putting things in order, you're like, wasabi, man. Yo, this makes more sense. Okay, put them from smallest to largest. Then when you put things in order from smallest to largest, you then can put things into classes, into frequencies. All right, watch this, y'all. Here's our class. How do we get this class right here? Well, these numbers show up between 10 and 20. That is our class. That is our interval. For example, if you got a messy room, how do you clean this messy room, y'all? You put things in order. You say your dirty clothes goes in your dirty clothes basket. That will be considered a class. Your clean clothes goes in the closet. That will be considered a class. Same thing we do with numbers. We put everything into classes, and now we can understand what shows up in that class, what frequency shows up, how many numbers show up in that class. In this example, it's 3. Cool, cool. How much in 20 to 30? 6. Once we get all of our frequencies, y'all, please make sure that you add up the totals. Totals are vital within business statistics. Why? It allows us to find a percentage. We can take that number 3, divided by that 20, and times 100, and you will get your 15%. And that is your cumulative, or that is your frequency percentage. Some of you guys hate percentages, but all it is that small number divided by the total times 100%, and that will be your percentage. How do you find your cumulative frequency? Cumulative means you're adding up your frequencies. Look at this frequency. Is there any number above 3? Nah, man. So then put down 3. Is there any number above 6? Yep. So all you're doing is 3 plus 6 gives you 9. And then you go on to the next one and the next one and the next one. You're accumulating your frequency. Once you got that, you can calculate your cumulative percentage. All right. How do you do that? Let's say we're looking at 9. It's 9 divided by 20 times 100 will give you 45%. Let's go. That's how we organize data. Chapter 3. How do you take and describe numbers? We use something called descriptive statistics. With descriptive statistics, it's broken down into 2 main parts, your central tendencies and your variation. Central tendencies, if you were to do this, there's tons of calculations that you can use to calculate the mean and different stuff like that. What we're hoping in this class is that you don't stress yourself out on the actual manual calculation. What we want you to do is find the most effective and efficient way to get these answers. But here are the manual calculators. For your mean, all of this guy right here. For your median, it's your middle number. For your mode, whichever number shows up most frequently. For your range, it's always your largest number minus your smallest number. How do you find your quartile 1? All right. It's Q1, here's your formula, Q2, and so on and so forth. How do you find your interquartile range, your inner quartile? It is from Q3 to Q1. We always do the largest minus the smallest, all right? That's your interquartile range. Variance is S squared. That's a symbol for sample variance, S squared, or sigma squared if you're dealing with population. All this will stress you out, and we're going to show you how to do this in Excel. Standard deviation is simply S for your sample standard deviation, or sigma for population. Please note that both of these are doing the same exact thing. What they're checking is how spread apart is the bulk of your data. All right, how spread apart is the bulk of your data? The standard deviation makes more sense to the human brain. Variance is such a large number that it doesn't make sense. We can't understand what it's meaning. But standard deviation, when we square root that big number, it makes sense to our human brain. All right, last but not least, coefficient of variation. It is this formula right here. What we're doing is testing different variations to see which one is best or which one is worse to help us make informed decisions. That was chapters 3. But what we're hoping is that you guys can actually get to the promised land, get to where you need to get going, not by manually calculating all of these, get it to the most efficient way possible. Use Excel. You can use also a descriptive statistic. If you become efficient, you can do a descriptive statistic within 10 seconds or less. So let's go. Find the easiest, most effective way to get your answers up in this class. All right. We also talked about z-scores. We can standardize any set of numbers, put it into this formula right here, and z-scores help us to standardize any set of numbers. Now, if your z-score is less than -3, it will be considered an outlier. If your z-score is greater than +3, it will be considered an outlier. Z-scores help us standardize our numbers and help us make informed decisions. All right, then last but not least is probability. Hopefully you guys didn't pass out when we talked about probability, but probability is broken down in a simplistic way, y'all. Hopefully I can explain this to you and it will make sense, but I'm gonna go through fast. So hopefully your professors explain this to you, and hopefully this will make sense. The first one, a complement of an event. You see the probability of A. Please note to self that the A is an identifier. It's a placeholder. In other words, if you were looking at this contingency or cross tabulation table right here, this P of A, instead of A, it would have either said GPS. It could have even said no GPS. It could have said AC. It could have said no AC. This A is a placeholder. All right. But watch how this works, y'all. Let's say the probability of AC. How do you calculate the probability of AC? It is all of AC's total, 0.7. Hopefully that is making sense to you. All right. Let's say A represented no GPS. What is the probability of no GPS? It is all of no GPS down here. All right. Once you have that probability, the complement of that probability must add up to 1. All right, must add up to 1. So the complement of this one will be this one right here. Do you see how these two add up to 1? All right, so that is what this formula is saying right here. All right, next one, union. All right, we say A in union with B, and A and B. I don't know if you guys text like I do, but when I'm writing and, I don't type out all of and, I just type in and. I'm just that guy. All right, so how do you calculate union? Watch this. We use the addition law. The probability of A, don't forget this A is a placeholder. All right, in union with B is equal to the probability of all of A plus the probability of all of B. This part here, let me explain. Every time you see A and B is where they intersect. That's why it's called the intersection. What are you talking about, man? All right, so watch this. Let's say A represented AC, right? Let's say B represented GPS, all right? So what is the probability of AC? It's all of AC, 0.7. What is the probability of B, which was GPS? It's all of GPS, 0.4. What we would do then, minus where they intersect. Where does AC and GPS intersect? Right up in here, y'all, right up in here, 0.2. So this one would be 0.7 plus 0.4 minus 0.2. Ooh, that's the probability. I don't want to spend too much time on that, but that's the cool part about that. If for some reason you know in the problem it says it's mutually exclusive, you drop this connection point right here. Mutually exclusive, it means that as one thing is happening, it will never connect with that other thing. So therefore, there's no connection point. So that's why we make that 0. So it will just be the probability of A plus the probability of B. All right, conditional probability. You guys are gonna see 2 problems on your exam for conditional probability. Watch how this works, y'all. It's A/B. Do you see how B comes last? So what we're doing is we're dividing it, whichever one comes last, by that total's probability. All right, it's where they intersect divided by that total probability right there. So yeah, I'm gonna bust out my pen. Hey, my mouse penmanship is spectacular, so please don't be judging. All right, so let's say A, the probability of A was AC. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of write, look at that beautiful AC, slash, all right, and let's say B was GPS. Look at that G. This hurts me to just, look at that GPS, all right? A is AC, B is GPS. So what does that equal to, all right? Where does AC and GPS intersect? AC and GPS intersects right up here, all right? So that will be 0.2 divided by, I can't click it. All right, divided by, let me make that point so you guys can see that. All right, divided by whichever probability comes last. GPS comes last. So isn't that 0.7 right there? or 0.4, sorry, 0. It's not working. All right. Yeah, so that's not going to work on my end right here. But you're going to be dividing it by 0.4. All right, 0.4. It wants to work up here. So I'm just going to make slash. 0.2 divided by 0.4, and that will be your conditional probability. All right, so now that we got that, let me erase that. Let me grab back my laser, and let's keep this pushing. All right, multiplication law. How do you solve it? It's the probability of all of B times the conditional probability of A and B. We're not going to explain all of this, but hopefully you guys are getting the concepts behind what we're doing. If it is independent, how do you calculate if something is independent? If this is equal to this, then it's independent. If B/A is equal to the probability of B, then it's independent. Here's another example of independent using the multiplication law. This times this, if it's equal to where they intersect, then it is independent. And this is what Bayes' theorem looks like. It's a whole lot of stuff, but we're not going to be focusing on that. But if you broke it down into parts, it's the probability of A times the conditional probability. Do you see that? Anyways, we're not going to mess with that. But let's get into chapters 1. So now that we have our templates, now that we got a good review, how we're doing on time, we're doing good on time. Now let's actually take a look at how we're going to set up our Excel templates for this exam. Chapters 1. What I want you guys to do, all right, now that I have this, I'm going to open up a new Excel template. All right. So I'm just going to go to chapters 1, Excel's templates. All right. So on here, I can't tell which one is which. All right. I'm just going to assume. All right, good. I chose right. Here is chapters 1, Excel's template. All right. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to just escape out of that so we can see it holistically. I'm going to hide this again. All right. And we're at chapters 1. So what I want you guys to do, if you were to right click on your Excel, right click, I want you to open up a new Excel document. So just click on Excel, whichever version you may have, just click it. It should open up a new Excel document. All right. So here is the trick and tip within Excel. And this is something that you guys are going to need to know how to do wherever God places you. How do you transfer from one Excel to the next? How do you transfer from one tab to the next tab in a different Excel workbook? This is what I'm going to show you. So go back to Excel chapters 1, please. Excel chapters 1. All right, so we got Excel chapters 1. If you look at the PowerPoint, I know I'm jumping back and forth, but follow me on this, please. On this, it actually shows you which questions will show up on your exam, all right, within chapters 1, exercise 01.08. Hopefully, when you see exercise 01 in your mind's eye, oh, that's chapters 1, all right? So we're going to do 01.08, 01.10, and MC01-043. All right, so we're going to do those 3. So I'm going to minimize this. This is what I need you guys to do. Highlight 01.02. Highlight 01.02. If you're a Mac user, you can actually do 3 at a time. So I'm going to show you guys how to do 3 tabs and move it over into that new Excel that you created. If you were to press Control and click on exercise 01.08, click it, both these should be highlighted. Also, we're going to do MC 01.043. Press down on Control. If you're a Mac user, press down on Command and click it. You should have all 3 selected. Once you have all 3 selected, I want you to right-click on any one of them. Right-click on it, you should get this pop-up right here. For Mac users, you might have to double tap, all right? So once you have this pop-up right here, I want you to click on Move or Copy. Move or Copy, And we're going to place that into that new Excel workbook. All right. So that new Excel workbook is going to say something like book 1. Click it. All right. And we're going to put that, we're going to move that to the end. We're going to move it to the end and we're going to create a copy. I know that's a lot. All right. But if I'm going too fast, stop the video and see how I did this. Once you have moved it into book 1, once you have moved it to the end, once you have clicked on create a copy, click on OK. And watch this. Automatically, or automatically, however you want to say it, it puts it into that new workbook. Let's go, Excel. Do your thing. Do your thing. All right. Oh, and as you can see, I think I selected the wrong one. Instead of 01.02, it should have been, let me go back to my PowerPoint. What was the first one? 01.08. 01.08. So I'm going to go back into my Excel, just in case some of you guys made this mistake. Go back to chapters 1. Go back to chapters 1, Excel's template. 01.08. All right. I need 01.10. So just click on it, right click, and move and copy. Same concept. Book 1. We're going to move that right before MC 01-043. Make a copy of that, put that in there, and it shows up right here. So we got 8, we got 10, we got this. We do not need these two. This is something that you need to learn too, a trick and tip within Excel. You can delete this sheet 1, click it and click on delete. But note to self, when you're deleting tabs, if you delete it, you will not get it back again. All right, so make sure that you're correct, and that's the one that you want to delete. Yes, I want to get rid of that one. Yes, it gives you a warning. Do the same thing for 2. Delete it. All right, so now you should have 1.08, 1.10, and MC 01-043. Cool. All right, that is chapters 1. Those are the questions that will be coming in chapters 1. We're going to hit those up in a second. All right, what is coming in chapters 2? Let me make this bigger so you guys can actually see what I'm seeing on the side here. All right, and I'm going to, please note that the answers are also in your notes section. All right, so I'm going to make that bigger so you guys can see this all. Perfect. Chapters 2 have 2 questions. All right. So 02.01 and 02.12. All right, hopefully I can remember those 2. All right, so we got this. Open up your Excel for chapters 2. All right, so you got chapters 2 right here. 02.01, click it. And if you press Control or Command and click on 02.12, you can then move that into that Excel document. Right click, click on Move Copy. All right, click on that. We're going to move it to the end, and create a copy. All right, so you guys got that right there. Click on OK. Automatically, it moves chapters 2 problems into your Excel template. All right, so we got chapters 2 done. Let's go back to the PowerPoint. 2 questions in chapters 2. Chapters 3 has 2 questions as well. 3.06, 3.42. All right, so grab chapters 3, grab those 2, please. Chapters 3, good. And 06 and 06 and 42. 06 and 42. All right. So go back to my chapters 3. I grabbed 06, press Control, and what did I say? 42. Slide it over, use this little arrow right down here until you find 42. Hold down on your Control, click it, and then you can move it. Right click, move. All right, we're going to move it to book 1. We're going to move it to the end. We're going to create a copy. All right, push that over there. So we got 06 and 42. Looking good so far. All right. One more chapter, y'all. One more chapter. Chapters 4 includes MC0, all right, 09, 009, 30, and 56. 9, 30, 56. All right. So find chapters 4. All right. Bam. You're looking for 9 MC04 009. 9. Now that messed me up. 9. Let me scroll over. 930. Press down on your control, click 30, press down on your control and click on 56. Then you can move those over there. All right, create a copy. I'm just going to move this to book 1 and I'm going to move this towards the end. All right, press on OK. All right, just like in your homework assignments, there are 10 questions per homework assignment. On the exam, there are 10 questions. Hopefully you guys are seeing that our PowerPoints directly connect to our homework assignment. Our homework assignment directly connects to our Excel templates. Our Excel templates directly connect back to our exam. We wanted everything to flow into each other, because once you guys get the concepts of templates, you can go wherever God will place you and use the concepts of templates to get stuff done the most efficient and effective way possible. So that is our hope on this exam. So once you have this, if I were you, I would save this somewhere. I'm just going to save as. I'm going to actually save this on my desktop. All right, I'm going to find my desktop. All right, put it in a folder that you guys can find. All right, and I'm going to call this BUS352 exam 1. So that way I know what it is. I know where to find it. If I need to search my documents, I know what I'm looking for. Bam, and press enter, save it onto your desktop, and you should be good to go. Now you can close out all of those past Excel documents that you had. So I don't need one. All right, so I'm just going to close that. Cool. I don't need 2. Close that. I don't need 3. All right, because every one that you have open is taking up resources from your computer. So if you can just have 1, that will work, all right, for this exam. If you want to bounce between your 4 templates, that's on you. You can do that as well. All right, so where I want to start off is the very first one. So you guys can actually see the concepts behind what we're doing here. All right, so we're going to go back to the PowerPoint and we're going to actually start off right here. All right, so I'm going to maximize this because I know you guys online might not be able to see this. Now, please keep in mind, every time we are doing some kind of survey, some kind of poll, it represents a sample size. All right, so let me grab my laser right here. Do you see in a recent poll, if it had said in a recent survey, this number represents your sample size. So what is the sample size of this poll? Round your answer to the nearest whole number. This is your sample size right here. All right, so if I press down, that will be my answer. In your Excel, this is how it works. I'm going to grab my Excel. I'm going to make it smaller so I can see both. All right, I'm going to drag that over. What is the total number of respondents? All right, plug your number in. So mine is 767. What is your sample size? Guys, when you use an Excel, always try to use the equal symbol, equals to, and click the number. All right. Every time okay, so sorry, let me click this number. All right, once you've done that, it should be equals to B1, press enter. All right, so on your exam, when you show up, what is the sample size? Whatever number you put in here, that is your sample size. All right. Are the data categorical or quantitative? All right. here they're saying is yes, no, not sure, quantitative, or is it some kind of number? Hopefully you're seeing that it is, is it categorical or is it quantitative? Hopefully you're seeing that these are categorical variables. So I will put something as short like cat. All right. Then the next question is, would it make more sense to use averages or percentages for categorical variables? All right. In business statistics, when we're using categorical variables, we use percentages. All right. And I'm just going to use per. Now, a quick way I tell my class to think about it, the cat purrs. Get it? I'm just that guy. All right. Categorical variable always purrs, percent. So that way you can remember it. All right. Next one. So on here, I'm just going to show you categorical variables. On these PowerPoints, I show you the actual answers. Yes, percentages. Cool. All right. And then how do you find the number of respondents if you had 55% that said yes? I provide you the formula right here. All right. P is your 55 divided by 100 times N. N is your sample size. All right. And that's how we got that. But on your Excel, I'm going to open this and I'm going to spread this out just a little bit bigger. All right. So you guys can see it all like that. The formula shows up on the bottom of this section right here. If you double click, you can highlight the formula, copy it, and then paste it over here. But some of you guys are going to be struggling on this exam and you don't know what to do. So if I were you, I would also put P. P is that 55% right here. All right. So I will put P, and then over here, I will put the number. So when I put that formula in here, actually unz. All right, unz that. Unz. All right. This is the Trello link that I was supposed to give to you guys. Give me a second. Let me undo that. Undo. All right. Let me give you this link first before I do anything else and forget like I just did. All right. Here's the link to your Trello board, just in case you need all of this information. That's the link you go to. All right. So now that we have that, let me copy this formula right here. Copy it. I'm going to paste it in here. All right. But before I paste it in here, like I said, I wanted P and I wanted 55. All right. So I can paste my formula in here. Watch how Excel is excited and watch how it works. If I double click on my P, I can grab my P's number. Whatever shows up on your exam, click it. I can double click on my N and I can grab my sample size. Click it. So when you guys show up to the exam, if you plug in this number, if you plug in this number, it will automatically give you this value right here. Let's go. We want you guys to use the most efficient and effective way to answer these questions. All right. So now that we have that, we should be good to go. Let's move on to, let's make sure that that answer is right. Yes. All right. 422. If for some reason you don't have 422, please stop the video, check to see how I did it, and get your right answer. All right, let's go on to the next one, exercise 01.10. All right, it's all of this information right here, but they're dealing with a survey, all right? And when they're dealing with this survey, I'm not gonna read all of this, but they're saying that the possible responses to this survey were strongly agreed, somewhat disagree, and strongly disagree. All right. And here are how many persons actually said this. Is this a category or is this numbers, quantitative? Hopefully in your mind's eye, you're saying, yo, man, that's a categorical variable. All right. So here is the stuff. You can enter your stuff on Excel, all of these numbers, 42 strongly agree, and so on and so forth. But here's your first question. Do the responses for this statement provide categorical or quantitative data? Don't look at the numbers. Those are how much persons responded. Look at the type of questions they're asking. Is the type of questions they're asking categorical or quantitative? It's actually categorical. All right. And don't forget, which one do you use? Would it make more sense to use averages or percentages? If it's categorical, the cat what? Purrs, right? Good times. All right. And then how do you find this percentage right here? All right. And we show you, you take strongly agree divided by the total, and that will give you this percentage right here. And last but not least, how do you do this? All right. And this is against allow or AA. So on your Excel, watch how this would work. All right. In here for strongly agree, all right, minus 42, minus 118, disagree, 160, and good night. Strongly agree, 702. How do I find the totals? Every time you're listing some kind of frequency, always get your total. The formula is right here. Double click in there and highlight it. Copy it, Control C or Command C if you're a Mac user. Double click and paste it in there. When you double click and paste it in there, you should see that it's highlighting all of your responses. All right. When you press enter, you will have your total. So on here, all right, is this categorical or quantitative? Cat. And the cat always purrs. All right, good. How do you calculate the strongly agree? Watch this, y'all. Grab your formula, copy this, paste this in here. Let me double click in there so I can see the formula that I paste. Highlight strongly agree. Highlight strongly agree and click the number that is associated with strongly agree. Bam. Double click on total. Grab total's number. Click it. Try not to type out anything. If you learn to click it, when you change these numbers, this value will automatically change for you. Tricks and tips of Excel. Let's go. All right. When you press enter, you will have your number. Whoa, right? And then down here, I'm just going to put, what is it, against whatever, allowing. So I'm just going to put AA. So I remember which one it is. Yes? All right. All right. In chapters 1, there's this question, statistical inference. And I want you to think of it this way. We are looking at population data, and we're using samples to understand the population. All right. So in essence, statistical inference is the process of drawing inferences about a population. You're trying to figure out what's going on in this population based on information taken from the sample. In business statistics, that is what we're doing. We're using sample data to always understand the population parameters. Why? Because population parameters or data is redunculous to get. But it's much easier to get sample data to understand the population. So on your Excel, document it. You know what I'm saying? Click on this guy right here. Which answer is it? Is this one right here? Click it. All right. For Mac users, you will not be able to click this dial circle. So just click on the letter D and then just change your color. All right. So that way you know that's the correct answer. All right. Let's go on to chapters 2, please. That is chapters 1. 3 questions in chapters 1. Hopefully you guys are starting to be like, oh, I get it, man. I get it. I understand what to do. All right, let's go through this one right here. And I'm going to go through a little faster, but I just want you to get the concept behind it. All right. So you got different classes, and they're telling you what the frequency at each class is. So you just plug it in your numbers. What is the total? Grab your numbers. How do you calculate relative frequency? When they say relative frequency, they're not saying relative frequency percentage. All they want is the decimal value. So watch this. You're taking 54 divided by 120. 54 divided by 120, and that will give you that. All right, so let me show you in Excel how to set that up. Plug in all of your numbers. All right, so we have what? 54, 30, and 36. Cool, cool. How do you get the total right here? It's your first total. You see, these are the B2s under B, right? Copy that formula, double click, highlight it, paste it in there. All right, so you have the sum of that. Now, how do you get your relative frequency? It is this number divided by this number. Put equals to. In Excel, when you want to trigger a formula, you always start off with equals to, and then just click the number divided by the total. All right, divided by the total. Now, pay attention to this because this is key to how we do business stats, especially when we're using Excel. We want to make this value right here static. In Excel, if you're trying to do multiple formulas and just dragging it down, it goes to the next cell underneath. All right. We don't want it to go to this blank spot right here. We want it to stick on 120. So what we do is we do dollar, y'all. Dollar. Dollars. We use the dollar sign. So it looks like this, dollar. And then it goes before the letter and after the letter, just like that. Now that you have this, you can find a relative frequency by going to the bottom right corner and dragging it down. I'm going to click enter and I'm going to maximize this. So those of you who are viewing this online can actually see what the formula is. We made B5 static. If you go to the bottom right, your mouse changes to a drag symbol. Bam, right there. Just drag it down and you will get the formulas for each one of this. Watch this, double click. It is this one divided by this one. This one here, double click, this one divided by this one. All right, so within Excel, you can do some cool things. All right, so that is your first example right there. So get all of the stuff, it shows you the formula, and then it's basically 120 divided by 120 is 1. All right. How do you do cumulative frequency, y'all? You have your frequencies, you have your classes, cumulative frequency. You're looking at the frequency. Is there any number above it? Nah, man. So you put that number in there. All right. So it will look something like this, 11. Is there any number above 14? Yeah, man. 11 plus 14 will give you what? 25. Accumulating your frequencies. All right, so how do you do this in Excel? So go over to 02.12. All right, I'm gonna make this smaller so I can see all my numbers. All right, plug in the numbers that you see on the PowerPoint. Remember, when you guys are entering your data, junk in equals junk out. Make sure you're taking your time. You see that? Take your time and plug in the right numbers. So for right down here, all right, you can either put in the 50 or you can do equals to the sum of everything. Just click and highlight it, close parentheses. You can have something like that. All right, press enter and you will have 50. Or you could have just plugged in 50. All right, how do you get your cumulative frequency? Equals to, all right? And I'm just gonna actually back out, maximize this so you guys can see this. All right, I'm gonna zoom in like that. All right, how do you find the cumulative frequency? This is equal to this number. There's nothing above it, so that's it, all right? How do you find this one right here? Equals to. Always start using the sum in Excel when you're adding up two numbers. And it's going to be this number, click it and drag it down to this one right here. Close parentheses. Now, here's a trick and a tip within Excel. You can actually make this one right here static. If you put dollar signs in front of it, if we were to drag this down, it's going to always do the sum from this one to the next one. This one to the next one, depending on how far down we go, it is going to do the correct summage, so if I could use that word. So I'm just going to go to the bottom right, drag it down, and these are all of your cumulative frequency. If I double click, watch this. It's the sum of these three. Excel is beautiful, man. These four. Come on. All right. On this one, cumulative relative frequency, all it is this number divided by 50. So put equals to, click the number divided by this 50 right here. Now, we're going to pull this one down as well, make it static. Dollar, dollar, y'all. Come on, dollar, dollar. All right, so once we have that, we can drag it down. All right, so if I went too fast, slow down the video, and hopefully you will see how to do these two. Make sure that these are good, because on your test, on your exam, once you have these calculations correct, let's say this was 10. Watch how these numbers change automatically. And you press enter, bam. Am I making sense? This one was 11, bam. So all you would then do on the exam is basically plug in these numbers. Because you have a system that is effective and efficient, you will get these automatically. Come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. All right, let's go back to our PowerPoint. All right, that's 12, bam, bam, bam. Show you how to do that. Good, good, good. And that's chapters 2. So you should be at basically 100% halfway through. Chapters 3 has 2 questions. Here's your first question, all right? So consider these numbers right here, compute the mean, the median, and the mode. We got these 3 numbers here, compute the mean, median, and mode. Some of you guys are so efficient, you can do a descriptive statistic, all right? You plug in your numbers, you put it into a descriptive statistic, and you will get your output within 10 seconds. Some of you guys want to do it where whichever numbers show up, it will automatically show you the mean, the median, and the mode. I'm going to show you this method right here, so that way we can keep this simple. Let's do this. I'm going to minimize this like this, and this is 3.06. So I'm going to move it over, grab this. All right, I'm going to plug in my numbers. Once again, junk in equals junk out. Take your time with this, plug in the numbers as you see them. I'm going to be going kind of fast, so that way I can get this rolling. And 51. All right, I'm going to maximize this. I'm going to show you how to do a descriptive statistic just in case you wanted to do that. But what we're really looking for is the mean. Just find a cell. I'm doing it at E5. I'm going to type in mean, median, and mode. How do you calculate these? Here is the formula for the mean. So if you double click on mean, right at the end of mean, and press Alt and Enter, for my Mac users, Options, I think it is, and Enter. All right, it keeps it within that row. All right, it does a row within the row. You'll see it here in a second. So the formula is equals to the average, AVR, open parentheses, all right? And then you can say the range of numbers, close parentheses, all right? And it looks like that. Then you can just drag this over so you can see it all like that, all right? Double click on the median, Alt and Enter, or Options and Enter, and that's equal to median, open parentheses, the range. And then this last one is the mode. Double click in there, Alt Enter, equals to mode, and then the range. And when we say the range, it's the range of numbers that you have. So let me show it like that. All right, I want this to look all nice and pretty. If I click on the Home tab, I'm going to move this all to the right. You see how that made it all look good? Yes, yes, yes. You guys can do this on your own. All right, so for the average, I'm going to copy this formula, and I'm going to paste that in there. Double click on your range. Just double click on the range, and then highlight all of your numbers, all of it. And that's it, guys. And press enter. So let me zoom in a little bit more so you guys can see all of this. Zoom out. Perfect. How do I find the median? Copy, paste, the range of your numbers. All right, looks like that. And how do I find the mode? Copy, paste, and that. All right. And what I like to do is I make this yellow so that way I know that it's being calculated for me. All right. You can even put, you know, make it big boxes around it so it looks all nice and neat. So anytime you change these numbers, let's say we made this 77. Watch how these numbers change once I press enter. See that? All right, so I'm just gonna undo that just to make sure that we're back to normal. All right, actually, I'm not gonna spend time on the descriptive statistic, all right, because you will just do data analysis. You know what, let's do it. Data analysis, descriptive statistic, okay. For your input, what is all of your data points or your range of your data points? Select it all. This is in a row. This is not in a column, it's in a row. We do not have a label. We're gonna put our output right at row 1. And we always try to select summary statistics and confidence level for the mean. All right, select those two and click on OK. It's gonna say there's data there. Should I override it? Yeah, man, give me my stuff. Give me my data. Uh-oh. So we got, oh, do you see that? All right, let me do this again. My input range is all of these numbers right here. All right. My output, I'm going to put my output right here. All right. And then summary statistics right there. Once again, there's a example to the right here. Click on OK. Override the data, yes. And it shows up right here. Here's my mean, here's my median, here's my mode. Cool. All right. So I'm going to minimize this. And we will get our answers right here. All right, so 3.42, all right? How do you calculate z-score? All right, so here it is. They're gonna give you the mean. They're gonna give you your standard deviation. Here's your x value. How do you calculate your z-score? Here's the formula, and you will get that answer right there. So let me go back to my Excel. All right, I'm gonna make this smaller so I can see it all. And this is 4.2. What is my mean? 1,000. What is my standard deviation? 1,100. What is my x1? 2,500. All right. How do I calculate my standardized value? Copy this. Paste that in there. All right. What is my x1's value? Do you see the number right here? So if you double click on x1, grab the number. Double click on mean, and it highlights it all. Grab your means number. Double click on S, grab your S's number. And once you press enter, you should be able to calculate your z-score. Do you see how it's negative 0.45? Just like what we got right here. All right. So you guys can do this for the rest of these. All right. The next one is 4,800. So on your Excel for X2, you will put in 4,800. Make sure that these calculations are correct. All right. Make sure that you label all of them just like you see it on this PowerPoint. So that way, when you show up to the exam, you know exactly what to expect, how you should be answering them based on what you see. So that way you can get that 100% on your exam. Let's go. Let's get that A. All right. Plug in all of your numbers. By the way, how does it show up on Cengage? Let me actually show you that really fast. All right, so I'm gonna go into my class really fast here, class resources. All right, view in Cengage, and you guys can practice this by going to your actual homework assignment. Once you have submitted it, you can practice as many times. It's not gonna affect your final score. What we look for is your highest score. All right, so this is chapters 3. So I'm just gonna go into that really fast. Let me go back. Which one is this one? This is 42. All right. 04. So it looks something like So you guys can actually see this. Tell me this is not going to be the very last one. Stop it. All right, you're going to have to click through until you find it. And of course, it is the very last one. All right, so how do you find your X1? It shows up right here, 2300. Am I making sense? In this example, it's 3100, 1200. X1 will be 2300. What is your X2? 4600. On the PowerPoint, all right, it was 2500, 4800. Yes, all right. So hopefully you guys can see how you can practice. Every time you show up on the exam, each person's going to have a different number. All right. So once you get the principle down packed, you should be able to answer all of these questions. All right, that's chapters 3. Chapters 4 have 3 questions. Here's the first one. The range of probability. Probability is between what 2 numbers, y'all? Always remember, probability is between 0 and 1. All right, note to self, bam. So on your Excel document, we're gonna go to this guy right here. It is between 0 and 1. So just check that, make sure you're good with that. All right, let's go to 4.30, please. We're almost done. You guys are doing great. Probabilities. Don't pass out when you see these probabilities. You got this, you got this, you got this. Don't forget, A and B is where they intersect. A and B is where they intersect. So you're going to get a problem like this. The probability of A/B, that is the conditional probability. How do you solve for it? All right, it's where they intersect 0.3 divided by 0.6. Isn't that 0.5? Watch how this works on Excel. All right, so you will plug in all of your A's, all right, 0.5, 0.6. This is going to be given to you on the exam. All right, how do you calculate the probabilities? Highlight this, double click and highlight this formula right here, copy it. Let me maximize this and let me zoom in so you guys can see this. Double click, highlight your formula, copy it, Control C or Command C, double click in here and paste it. What is the probability of A and B? Click the number, don't type it in, click it. What is the probability of B? Click the number, bam, and that will be your answer. How do you do this one right here? Same concept. They try to trick you by doing B/A, but watch this. You paste that in there. All right, highlight it. It's the same number right here, but A comes last on this one. So click it, and you will get your answer like that. All right. So I'm going to zoom out. You guys are going to see how this is working. Bam, bam, bam. All right, make sure you answer these questions within your Excel as well. Set yourself up for success. And that is that. Here is your last question. They're going to give you a table. Please be reminded that you must put these probabilities. Give me a second here. All right, we must put these probabilities into, how do I say this? You want to put these whole numbers into probabilities. So watch this really fast. On your Excel, I'm going to maximize this. This is the last one. You'll have a table that looks like this. Please, would you please highlight from B1 all the way over. Copy it and paste it right here in I. So you have 2 of them. One for your whole numbers and one for your probability values. All right, so that way we can make this easy on ourselves. Once we have those, here's the hard part. Plug in your numbers. If you press the number, type the number in and press enter, it goes down automatically. So you don't have to keep clicking, all right? Enter 100. Once again, junk in equals junk out. This is going to be the hardest problem on the exam right here. Make sure that you're plugging in the right numbers. All right. All right, and I know I'm going fast, so I'm hoping that I'm doing this right. And 8:30. All right, once you have that, I'm gonna zoom in on these two right here. I'm gonna do it like that. How do you find the probability of 50? So in here, we put equals to. Click on 50 or click on whatever number shows up here on your end, divided by the total or your sample size. Bam. We're also going to make this sample size static because we're going to make these probabilities easy. So we're not doing each individual one. Watch this. Put dollar signs, dollar, dollar before the F and after the F. Once you have it static, you can drag it down. Go to the bottom right of this cell and drag it down. Go to the bottom right of these cells that are highlighted and drag it over to the right, like that. Automatically, you got all of your probability at each point. Bam and bam. Come on, Excel, do it for me. Do it for me. All right, now that you have that, you can answer these questions right here. Here's your formula. You can simply do this, copy it, paste it right here. You got that answer right there. Copy this, paste that right there. You will have that answer. Copy this formula, paste that right here. You will have that formula right there. Now for this last one, it's quite interesting. All right. This one, instead of A, U, B, remember these templates are for you. You guys got to make it do what it do for you. It is not actually A in union with B. It's actually A/B, forward or straight down slash. All right. A/B. So then the question is, what is the actual formula for A/B? It's conditional probability. Remember, it's where they intersect divided by whichever probability comes last. So I'm just going to do Alt-Enter, right, to go down to put my formula in there. It's simply equals to L2 divided by M2. All right, so if you guys highlight this, copy it, and put that in there. If you, let me make this a little smaller. You can't really see it. It's basically this. This is where they intersect over 90 and under 150. This is where they intersect, divided by under 150. That's the second one, that total. And that's how you came up with this answer right here. All right. So on here, on your PowerPoint, you'll see all of those answers. Make sure it matches. Make sure it matches. All right. And make sure it says it is not independent. All right. Guys, that is basically my lecture for today. So ultimately, what I want to do is I'm going to stop sharing. What I wanted to do was to make sure that you guys are good with this and that it's all set up correctly. If you have any questions, please stop this video, go back, watch it, and hopefully you will be able to be well prepared for that exam. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Have a great